Now, in today's episode, we're going to talk about the concept of clave. It's so important to understand this because it's the foundation of Afro-Cuban music. It's the foundation of all the salsa music that you listen to. So, I've got a question before we begin. Have you ever been in the audience and there are performers on stage, the dancers are on stage, or the musicians are on stage, and all of a sudden, everybody in the audience, they start going like this. Ba, 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 ba. They start clapping this rhythm. And they're clapping and they're exciting and they're hot, and you see everybody on stage and they're getting excited. Have you ever had that experience? Because sometimes the audience, they're so excited, but the pattern that they're clapping doesn't match the music. And sometimes you can see the reaction on the performer's face, like, let's do it like this. Ba, 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 ki, ba, ki, ba, 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 di, ki, da. It's exciting to know this information. So let's begin. Now, these two instruments are clave sticks. That's the sound of the clave sticks. The pattern that you make with the clave sticks is called clave. Now, there are multiple types of patterns, but today we're going to talk about the son clave, which has two different formats. One is a 3-2 clave, and the other one is a 2-3 clave. Again, these are the clave sticks, and the pattern in which you tap them together and make a sound is called clave. Now, whether it is a 2-3 or 3-2 clave makes a big difference because that's the foundation of the music, and I want to talk to you today about that. Now, in most Afro-Cuban music, we have a measure, and in that measure, we have 4 distinct beats. We count 1, 2, 3, 4. But dancers, we have a different language, and dancers count not only to 1, 2, 3, 4, but we also count 5, 6, 7, 8. So we have a first measure, and we have a second measure. And in that first measure, we have 4 beats. And in the second measure, we have another 4 beats. 1, 2, 3, 4 in the first measure, and 5, 6, 7, 8 in the second measure. When you put those 2 measures together, we call it a set. That's a set. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So in between each beat, we have an and beat. And if you count with the and beats, it sounds like this. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 7 and 8 and... Now that's what an entire set sounds like. Are you with me so far? Great. Now, the concept of clave and how it applies to that set is very simple. I'd like to explain to you why we call it a 3-2 clave or a 2-3 clave. Because once you understand this concept, ding, everything starts to make sense, and you start to listen to the music differently and you start to dance differently. Now, the reason why we call it 3-2 clave is only because the clave will strike 3 beats in the first measure and 2 beats in the second measure. It strikes on beat 1, 2.5, 4 in the first measure, and in the second measure, it strikes on beat 6 and 7. That's it. That's why we call it a 3-2 clave. And 1, 2 and 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 1, 2 and 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's why we call it a 3-2 clave, because the clave will strike on 3 beats in the first measure and on 2 beats in the second measure. 3 here, 2 here. 3, 2, 3, 2 clave. 3, 2 clave. That's the only reason. Again, 3 beats in the first measure, 2 beats in the second measure, beats 1, 2.5, 4 in the first measure, and beat 6 and beat 7 in the second measure. That's it. Now, the 2-3 clave is simply switched around. That's it. It means that there are 2 beats in the first measure in which the clave strikes, and 3 beats in the second measure which the clave strikes. In the first measure, we strike on beat 2, 3, and in the second measure, we strike on beat 5, 6.5, 8. That's it. That's all it means. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, 8, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, 8. That's it. That's all it means. The clave strikes on 2 beats in the first measure and 3 beats in the second measure, and that's what makes it 2-3 clave. 2 beats here, 3 beats here. 2, 3, 2, 3 clave. 2, 3 clave. That's why we call it the 2-3 clave. That's it. The most important to remember about the 3-2 clave is when it begins and when it ends. This is the most important. The 3-2 clave begins on beat 1 and it ends on the beat 7. Remember, 1, 2, and 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, and 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It begins on beat 1 and it ends on beat 7. This is most important to remember about the 3-2 clave. Now about the 2-3 clave, it begins, remember, on beat 2 and it ends on beat 8. That's the most important to remember about the 2-3 clave. Again, it begins on beat 2 and it ends on beat 8. That's it. I'm so excited to be able to share this with you. Thank you again so much for watching the first episode of Universal Salsa. Again, I'm Josue, the creative director of La Época. It's so exciting to be able to share some of these secrets with you. Besos to you and enjoy your journey of self-education. See you soon. Hi there, I'm Josue, and I want to welcome you to Universal Salsa. It's a new project that I've just created, which I'm so excited about. I'm excited to be able to share some of the secrets which I've been able to capture along the way on my journey. And it's wonderful to be able to share some of these secrets with you, the wonderful dancers and the musicians who are watching. Stay tuned.